This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Everyone looking real sharp up here. How's everyone
As are
feeling?
you.
Thank you
Very
so
cute.
much.
You got a whole artsy vibe here.
I feel like I'm your kid's second grade teacher. Let's do lollipops.
That's what Tori thinks the teacher does all day. Which would be everybody's favorite teacher,
Oh,
so I'll
man.
give you that.
I'd be a great
It looks
teacher.
like you were strapped in somewhere and broke away.
Tori, I like it.
Thank you, guys. Well, welcome and good morning. We are starting today with some women's issues, actually, that have been thrust into the political spotlight. So after Roe v. Wade was struck down a year and a half ago, some of these issues have come up. For instance, Alabama. State legislators are hoping to pass a bill that would give immunity to IVF clinics and patients after the state Supreme Court They're ruled that frozen embryos are children. The governor of Alabama said she anticipates a bill on her desk shortly. So they're trying to control some damage there. Hundreds of families are now expected to rally today at the state capitol in support of IVF and to pressure lawmakers to act. Yesterday, the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary met with women affected by the ruling in Alabama. Here is what he had to say.
We're trying to figure out at the federal level what we can continue to do to try to be supportive of people who want to access their health care rights. I think it's become pretty clear that this isn't just about abortion.
So if you did see the woman on the right, there was Liz Goldman. She was actually on our show. She had a uterus replaced and is trying to have a baby all at the same time, trying to get rid of that uterus once it's out. And she is leading the fight, and we had her on our show. What do we make of all this? Erica, go to you only because you've been so transparent about your journey.
Yeah, I've been on an IVF journey actually for a couple of years now, and I just finished my third round of IVF retrievals. People are very uneducated about this process, and it's obvious.
Yeah, right.
When you're talking about halting IVF treatments in the state of Alabama, mid-cycles for people, you're talking about women who are putting hormones into their body and their follicles are developing, which means that your eggs are going through your body, like at all times. Your eggs are basically coming together in a follicle to make it easier for extraction so that you can retrieve your eggs. That can be a very daunting and painful process. The idea of just halting that makes me very concerned for anyone who would be in that situation where you're halfway through or in the middle of a medical procedure and now all of a sudden, what's your recourse? I'm also very concerned not only, and a lot of people should be thinking about this is not just affecting the state of Alabama right now. If Alabama is halting IVF and you're somebody who is experiencing fertility issues in other states that are not, get ready for a major pause.
The bottleneck.
I was delayed months, and I am in my early 40s from starting my IVF procedure because of Roe v. Wade being overturned. So the idea of all of these embryos being transferred to different states, all of these new patients coming into different states is something that a lot of people who are doing family planning right now really need to think about it. I need to think, why wouldn't I have received money back from the state for my dependents that are my embryos? Because now that's what we're talking about. If you have embryos with someone, do you now receive child support for said embryos? You're talking about embryos that may be viable and may not be viable. If they're not viable embryos, by definition, they will never become babies.
Children, right?
So why are we not having any discernment with this conversation? It just really appears as though the government stepping involved is really a signal to tell women, when they said access to your health care, it's like access to your bodily autonomy and everything else that has to go with it. And it's not just women. Men should be very concerned about this as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, at some point, men need to join this fight, which they are. But when you see an embryo, that's an egg and a sperm. This is now interesting, voters, men and women, I think. Here's something may also really surprise you. Several states have laws on the books that prevent pregnant women from divorcing their husbands with no exceptions for domestic violence. These laws are in Missouri, Texas, Arizona, Arkansas, and California. And they allow couples to file for divorce, but the court must wait for the woman to give birth before judges are allowed to finalize the divorce. One state legislator in Missouri is trying to change the law there, saying this just doesn't make sense in 2024. Al, what do you think of these laws? Is it fair? Is it safe? I realize they are to protect paternity issues, things like that, but this seems like...
Are they?
Well, it seems a little medieval. And
yeah, it sounds like hysteria. Like, oh, she's a little hormonal because she's pregnant, so now she wants a divorce, so make her wait.
Right, yeah.
Or is it to protect the paternity of the father who with child support and how you get there? You need to make sure who is the father before you get a divorce from that person. Is that protecting the father in any way?
I mean, maybe it is protecting the father, but in this case, I would have to think that most women that are going through a divorce while they're pregnant with this person, they're doing it because things are not great, because things might be very dangerous. That's not a decision that you come to willy-nilly, like, I'm 6 months into a pregnancy with a person that's going to be on the planet longer than I will. Let me get rid of this life partner that I'm literally going to be depending on for financial support, for, hey, get up with me in the middle of the night. If she feels like she needs to leave that person, I would question why she's doing that, and I would gather that it's because she feels like she's in danger at that point, either emotionally or physically.
What do you think about this being in the election in 2024? Do you think these laws will be important?
I can't believe I feel like, you know, when we talk about politics, it's like I'm on an episode of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
We go back in time. What does this law have to do with anything? Why wouldn't you want to be able to get a divorce whenever you want to get a divorce? It doesn't make any sense to me. Neither does the embryo thing. And I kind of want to go back to that because it's such a big topic. It makes no sense to the point that Erica made. Do you get child support for those embryos? If I don't use my embryos, am I now in jeopardy of abandonment of the embryos?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Right. We need to get these things. Common sense is something that we need in this country. And when we just stake our ground and stay on our side, it makes you sound ridiculous, whatever political side you're on. It's the same as, I'll bash the other side a little bit, with the defund the police. That's ridiculous. And to think that there's no problem on the border, that's ridiculous. We need to all say, hey, there's some problems going on. We need to fix something on the border. We need to have some sensible gun laws. The thing with the embryos is ridiculous. Not being able to get a divorce, even though my husband beats me up and he's jeopardizing the life of the baby and I can't get a divorce or get away from him, the law
or
says
even get him out of the house that night. It's very difficult to get a married person out of their own house. Some of these things that we're fighting about are insane, and it makes me think, why are we fighting each other about these? Why isn't this something that the government could take care of? These are very common sense things, very common sense, which doesn't threaten anyone else. Jeff,
I don't understand.
I'll say this, the thing, and I know we got to run, is when you talk about an issue, like all the issues Erica's bringing up and you're bringing up, like, am I responsible for this embryo for life? Do I need to pay child support for life?
What if I donate embryos? Am I abandoning?
And wouldn't you think if you
child?
were bringing this to the table of the nation, you would have hashed some of these things out? They don't have any answers ready to go. That's the crazier thing. It's like, as we're bringing them up, they're like, good point. We're going to talk about that after lunch. I would think if I was going to bring this up, I would have a retort for every single thing that you guys were going to throw at me.
Are you saying perhaps we should leave it to the scientists and the doctors and not the lawmakers who can't even tell us
Was that an example?
No, I'm just going to say I don't think they could point out certain scientific things if they tried. Coming up on DBL, Biden and Trump win the Michigan primary election, but they both face setbacks with voters as they head toward November. We're talking about it next in our interview with the winner of Netflix's Squid Game, The Challenge. She tells us what it was like competing to win the $4.56 million prize. Information with like the 39%.
Erica, can I throw some joy in here real quick?
Yeah.
No, you said
I want to say happy birthday to my Uncle Ben. He's 73.
Uncle Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Uncle Ben. He fell and broke his hip yesterday. But,
don't go look for it. It's probably in the bathroom.
Remember we were talking about luck yesterday? They're in South Carolina. They got one of the best black female surgeons.
Yeah.
She was available, and they said it was, if you're going to break your hip, it was a clean break. So, you know, he's on the mend, and obviously he's really happy. So Uncle Ben took me to all my first sporting events in Cleveland. It's just
What happened? Is Uncle Ben passed?
Yeah, no. He broke his hip. He
And
fell.
it's his birthday.
Uncle Ben!
Let me just say this, because I love that, and I know that, because I know there's a contingency out there that get very upset if you mention that you're black. But Uncle Ben is 73 years old, and the idea of him going to the hospital and having a young black female doctor to help him, and a surgeon in this way, it's a full circle moment in life, so I think that is very important. And happy birthday to Uncle Ben.
Yeah, he's on the mend, and he's definitely my favorite uncle.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
He's just such he has no capability of any. He's just such a great person. Always has been. So shout out to Uncle Ben. I hope he's on the mend. I'm going to FaceTime him after the show's over. But yeah, I always like to interject because there's always lots of good stuff going on too.
So many great things.
I'll tell you something that's good. I got a bird feeder to see my mom because I said she'd be a red bird, and the squirrels got to it.
Yeah, you gotta.
Okay, so I got a pole. Not that kind of pole, a different kind of pole, and I'm gonna grease the pole, and then I'm gonna see some birds. I know, Dre, it didn't come out the way I
Grease
wanted.
the pole.
Welcome back. So voters in Michigan handed big wins to both Donald Trump and President Biden in yesterday's primary, so they both easily won their party's nomination. But the votes revealed some challenges for both candidates. More than 26% of Republican voters picked Nikki Haley, even though she has almost no chance to being nominated. Meantime, this is what's important to me. More than 100,000 voters in Michigan protested Biden's handling of the war in Gaza, casting their ballots as uncommitted. So what issues do you think will end up deciding this presidential election? Is it the border crisis, abortion, the war in Israel? And DBL Nation, we want to know, do you really want to see a Trump-Biden rematch, or would you like to have another choice? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I want to know, Jeff, your number one issue that you think is affecting this election, that the voters are thinking about.
I don't know. I think I can't just speak. I mean, I can speak for myself, surely, but I can't speak for everybody else.
What is it for you?
If I say something, someone else is going to disagree.
Sure.
You know what I would like? And I think we're stuck with these candidates. I've said this for the last 4 years. I do not want this rematch. I don't want Biden. I don't want Trump. Regardless of what you think at home, of what you paint the picture of
You've
what you
made
think
it
I am.
clear.
I want someone to retract something that they said. I want the Republicans to say, this abortion thing is craziness. Okay, if you're married like me and you're in a heterosexual relationship and you saw your wife go through childbirth, both vaginally and a C-section, you would definitely say it's up to you as a woman to do what you want with your body because it's ravaging what happens. My wife, it's up to you as a woman, okay? And I want Democrats to walk back. Hey, we didn't do everything perfect during COVID. Not saying anything, just I want someone to walk something back. And that person who walks something back would earn my respect. You know what? There is a problem at the border. We need to address that. We need to really solve what's going on over there. The defund the police thing, it was out of control. We went too far with that. Whatever side you're on, I want you to retract something. That would mean a lot to me.
Interesting. Yeah. Erica, what do you think? What is an issue for you that you think is going to galvanize people, or for yourself?
Well, I think, to Jeff's point, like, if you say something, someone's going to disagree with it, but that's the whole point of where we are. That's politics, the whole point of politics. Exactly.
Right.
I think it's really a commingling of all the issues. You know, if you're in a border state, then the border probably is one of your top priorities. If you are in the midst of family planning, or you are a birthing person, then of course Roe v. Wade, abortion issues are of course going to be at the top of mind. There's going to be a little something in there for everyone. But I think that's also what makes it so divisive in general, because there's so much energy spread and so many very important issues.
Right, these are huge.
It's not like, people, it's a hierarchy to us personally.
Right.
It's not a hierarchy necessarily in terms of what's imminent in all of this.
Right. Al, let me ask you a question. I agree with you. It's a bunch of things, and it's high stakes right now for a lot of people. What about democracy? The idea that when Trump says he's going to come and he's going to sort of take down the justice system, all that, do you think that's an issue that people are worried about, or are these other issues taking more in control?
I think it's a secondary issue, but I think for the first time after January 6th, we saw that there was a plan in place,
right,
and people had coordinated to, flip over the vote of the people. But I have to, going back to what I think the main issue is, I don't see how it can't be IVF and abortion. This is the third rail that I always thought that this was a great issue for Republicans to run on. It's a great way to stack, funds for your coffers. But to actually overturn them, I feel like much like Trump in 2016 galvanized a base of voters that had never really been tapped into before. I think that the fact that they're coming for women's right to choose at the beginning, usually younger women are looking for abortions if they feel like they can't afford it, and older women who are more established in their careers that say, now I can't afford it and I'm willing to pay $250,000 to try and have a child. Now both of those forces have been combined, because what we have right now is a snapshot, or what the Democrats should label as, this is a snapshot of what your future looks like in the hands of this party. And I think it's a devastating, Thor's hammer in terms of like getting people to the polls.
Sometimes I disagree with you, but on this one, we see eye to eye.
I've never been wrong.
Nope. Let's look at the poll match. We got another option, 86% of you. A rematch, 14% of you. Strong majority. We'll be right back. Welcome back. One of the biggest shows in recent years is Squid Game, The Challenge. It's a drama that expired in a reality competition show called Squid Game, The Challenge. Earlier, we spoke with the winner, Mai Whalen.
Squid Game is not like anything else on television. Think Hunger Games meets Parasite.
The series is in fact a Korean thriller, a violent dystopian tale about people deep in debt playing a bunch of children's games hoping to win millions of dollars. If they lose a game, they lose their lives.
Give it up for the Circle Guy!
Netflix is staging what they're calling the biggest reality competition ever.
It is set to become a reality competition show. The prize, $4.56 million.
Life that keeps me alive.
You must now pick 2 players to eliminate.
456 people competed in the reality competition, but only one made it to the end. Please welcome to DBL the woman who won $4.56 million, Whalen!
Hi. Thank you for having me.
My congratulations. Thanks for being here. I got to know, what was it like before your life, that is, before you joined this show? What made you want to do this?
prior to the Squid Game, I love watching, the Squid Game, the challenge. My husband got me to watch the show. And at first I didn't want to watch it because it was, very gory. so he persuaded me for me to watch the show. And then when he, saw the advertisement for Squid Game, the challenge, he said, this is all about you. You're competitive and you're gonna do great. And so I applied, but yeah, it's a road of no return.
We appreciate you being here. Now, a lot of your success was strategic and mental, but many said that you were great at being deceptive. Do you agree with that?
I'm not deceptive. I think I keep everybody at a distance. That's why I don't believe in alliances. I mean, I have friends, but also, you always keep your friends close, but your enemy closer. So that's my strategy. And at the end of the game, you have to realize this is one winner. So you have to set apart from friendship, from alliances, and all of those associations that you built throughout the whole the game. Is like it's gonna go away. Even at the end, Sam even said, all bets are off because there's the money's on the line, and also it's gonna be one person to win. So you have to think smartly.
I was also a huge fan. Mine, you just did beautifully. You were so focused, and I was like, oh, I would have joined a group. And then I remember you saying, no, only one wins. Stop with the alliance. I think now that's why she won. All right, you won over $4.5 million, but you couldn't tell anyone, and you didn't get the money until the final episode aired. How tough was it to wait to tell anyone?
It was very stressful because I was allowed to tell one person, which was my husband, but after coming home from the game, everybody was curious. It's like, so did you win? So my answer has always been eliminated, or I don't want to talk about it, and it's like it's very stressful, and I don't want to think about it. So that has been it was very hard. But then again, after initially I said, I got eliminated, and people just leave me alone. So it was easy, but yet hard not to celebrate with your family.
Thanks.
Well done. Thank you.
What a great person
Thank you so much for joining us today. My congratulations. DBL Nation, if you think you've got what it takes to be a contestant on Squid Game, the challenge, go to squidgamecasting.com right now to enter. Thank you again, Mai. We'll be right back.
Great show.
Mai.
Great show, great winner. Welcome back. With interest rates so high, lots of homeowners are choosing to remodel their homes instead of moving, and bathrooms are a great room to add value. So I wanted to know if budget wasn't a factor. Oh my gosh, what's something you've always wanted to add to your bathroom?
Ooh, one of those like multiple waterfall like
rain showers.
Yeah, I know
rain.
it's very wasteful.
No,
that's why
good.
I'm just saying that's in my dream.
That's good.
Yeah,
I would do heated floors, heated, beautiful marble from the quarry in Florence as the floor.
What about heated towel wraps? I heard you
Okay.
can get burned on those.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
I still want one.
Okay, and you? Oh, we're out of time. So if any of you have ideas from this that have sparked some inspiration, jacuzzi.
Waterfalls?
Yeah, those rain shower heads. Jacuzzi can help. If you want to start your bathroom remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Call 1-800-990-3709 or visit jacuzzibathremodel.com. Before we go, the time has come. We are so excited to announce the winner of our Sandals and Blue Valentine giveaway. Drum roll, please. The winner is Holly Benz from Phoenix, Arizona. She's a grandma. Yes, Holly. A grandma. She's been working 12-hour days. She hasn't had time to go on a real vacation for a very long time. She watches us on 12 News. Holly, we hope you enjoy your 4-day, 3-night stay at any Sandals resort. Thank you for watching.
Holly's a glamma, and glamma, you go get your groove back.
Yeah, glamma. We love you, Holly. Bye, guys.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just